I don't believe it. That's Clone Force 99.
This is Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair.
Obviously, we are different.
We're all you're getting.
Ha! We're all you need!
They call themselves the Bad Batch. Experimental Unit Clone Force 99. The defective clones with desirable mutations.
This is one meeting I don't want to miss.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Dad Batch Podcast, episode 18. My name is Steven Schultz, and I am your host in the pilot seat today. And you know I can't do it alone. With us, as always, the other Dad Batchers, your space daddies. First up, he's our resident heads-up display and laser cutting expert. It's Joe Lara. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Now that I have Babu Frick, dude, like he's I didn't realize he's been missing in my life. He's so
Dude,
awesome.
All the Babu Frick merchandise that went on clearance is going to be so hard to get now that he's in season 3 of Mando.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's awesome. So I can't... Hey. He won't stop talking now. All right, I'm doing great. So went to met John and Raimi on over the weekend for a really cool. It's a big deal. It's the holiday, the Hollywood Parade, red carpet event, and I did it last year with a lot of you guys as the Bad Batch, which was incredible memory. But this time went as a TK, which is a different kind of memory and pretty damn good too. I got to admit, man, like. Because there were how many were there, John, of us?
Like to be honest, it wasn't that many that I've seen. I've seen like tons in the past, but we were still a good number. It was like 20, probably 20.
I think there was about 20 classic TKs.
Yeah, and whenever you have more than two, it looks good, right? So imagine 20, kind of starting out together and marching. Then obviously you see the people, you see the faces, and you got to go and give them high fives and the kids and. So it's always good energy, but it was a long day because it's like 5 hours of driving from San Diego up there and then back. And then, of course, had to go to Disneyland the next day and shut that down where I got Babu Frick. Ran into a lot of 501st members. The Southern Garrison is massive, and I think they live there at Disneyland because I ran into a lot. But it was good. It was really good way to finish the week after, spending time with the family and eating turkey and all that good stuff. So can't complain.
Excellent, man. Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys had a good time at the parade. The pictures looked amazing.
Yeah, I missed you, man. Missed you and Brian, of course.
Yeah. We'll hit it up next year. I'm planning to go really hard on
Troops?
Black Chrysanthemum next year.
Oh.
Yeah,
dude,
that's
I mean, not to London, but I mean, Chrysanthemum's gonna get some serious love next year.
That's awesome. Got to see it.
Cool, man. Let's see. Next up, he's live from Canto Bight, aka Las Vegas. It's Raimi Shanaday. How are you, man?
I'm good. Yeah, this is true. I am in Las Vegas for the week for a conference for work, and saw John and Joe over the weekend at the Hollywood Christmas Parade, and then literally left there. I had all my stuff in the truck already and drove straight here. Got here at about 1 a.m. Got checked in and have been at this conference ever since. So I'm tired. There's a lot going on here, and then my weekend's busy too. So I'm just kind of like, the family is about ready to board an airplane. So Bubby got invited to a BMX competition in Mexico City this weekend. So they're flying down there, and they're going to be there until Sunday or Monday. So
when do you head back home, or are you going straight there to meet them?
No, I'll head home. I'm scheduled to be here through Friday, so we'll see if I survive that long. I have the opportunity. I might have the opportunity to sneak out of here tomorrow, so we'll see.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, you probably didn't get much building done in a Las Vegas hotel room, but I don't know. You could surprise us. Who knows?
Not, although I do have some interesting stuff to talk about at Workbench, so.
Cool. Next up, he's living his best life with chrome-colored glasses. It's John Rodriguez. How are you, man?
Hey, yo. Doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good. Good.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, doing good. Like Joe and Rami mentioned, we did the Hollywood Christmas Parade, which, like Joe said, that was my first time being a TK, and it was such a different experience. I mean, obviously, I didn't finish the walkthrough on last year's, but I've done every year since 2017, I think, or 2018. And
that many? Wow.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 or something. But this year as a TK was so much fun. It just, I think mainly because that armor is so light and you're very mobile in it. Like we were running, high-fiving kids and running back, and then running to the other side, high-fiving kids running, like I wouldn't have been able to do that in Hunter at all.
Dude, you can sprint in TK gear, like
dude,
full out sprint. Yeah.
There were like 4 or 5 of us. Like I would come back from high-fiving a kid and there were like 4 people running out to, slapping fives with other kids. And it was so awesome. It was those parades are always really fun because the atmosphere is really big. But it was just a different vibe in the TK, and I really liked it. So maybe might do it again next year.
Well, just wait until, if you think a stormtrooper is comfortable, wait till you put on your Narkina 5 prisoner outfit.
that might hurt my feet in Hollywood Boulevard. So I don't know if I would do that. But
you just fall into the pothole.
Glass. Yeah. Yes.
That would suck.
Right on, man.
Jammies. But other than that, just been all right. So yeah, my week was good, and that's about it.
Cool. And last but not least, he thought the Mon Calamari was an appetizer at Applebee's. It's Brian Cook.
Mon Calamari. That's the only way I say Mon
What's
Calamari.
up, man?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. I listened to the podcast yesterday or something, and I heard the end of whatever episode, and I would request that John can sing "In the Arms of an Angel."
I don't want to get bit with a licensing copyright issue. So.
Oh, trust me, with your rendition, we're safe.
We're safe. It's obviously a parody, or else
crack it up so hard. Oh man!
Like isolated the audio, so it was just me.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I'm good. Had a great Thanksgiving. That was last week, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Super fun. Went over to my neighbors out here in North Carolina with his family and had a blast. And it's cool. They have like a family tradition where they do like an oyster roast. So
bro, I saw that, man. That looks really good.
Trying to huck that oyster. Shucker,
yeah, he's from Wilmington, which is the East Coast beach out there, and he grew up shucking oysters on the beach during holidays. So it's like a thing he does. He goes and gets a bushel of oysters, and it's kind of cool. Like before we eat turkey and all that stuff, we just sat outside with the bonfire and the grill, and just grill oysters, pull them right off, little cocktail sauce, horseradish. Oh, they were delicious. And it was like fun because it's like a group thing. Like everyone's kind of around the barbecue, shucking them, cooking them, having a good time. So yeah, it was super fun. It was a blast.
Right on, man. Was that your first time having like grilled oysters like that on the half shell?
I've had like roasted oysters, like you get at like a sushi place where they put like, they'll put like eggs on them and some other stuff. But yeah, like straight grilled. Like I like raw oysters. You go to Oyster Bar or something, like those are good. But yeah, roasted was like different for me. But it was so good.
They say that when you have when you have oysters raw, it makes your fire puncher shoot
So I've
better.
heard. Yes. It's,
Makes you shoot straight.
it's armor piercing rounds.
Green tip.
Jeez. That's pretty strong stuff.
Cheers.
All right, man. Other than that, everything else good?
It's good.
I'm good. I'm going
good.
sniping tomorrow, so I'll let you know how that goes.
Very cool.
Fire
Deer,
puncher?
right? Getting deer?
Yes.
Whitetail.
Okay.
Yep.
Just a little tip. Deer is very, very, very lean. So when you cook it, add lots of butter, lots of fat.
That's what I've heard. Mix it with beef too. Works.
You haven't had deer before?
I don't recall. I think I have, but
Venison?
I'll be making jerky,
Venetian.
kinds of stuff.
Deer
You'll
sushi?
enjoy it.
Better send
If
us
I
some
get
jerky, bro.
If I get one. Oh yeah,
You'll get
send
one.
Always jerky, dude.
Come on. How does
course
Crosshair
you
not
will.
get a deer? Come on.
You had oysters for Thanksgiving. Fire puncher
Come
is on
on.
point.
You
on.
have to come back with a deer. Dude, if you don't come back with a deer, you can't. I don't know if you can have that name Crosshair anymore.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're gonna have to call you Bambi.
My neighbor who's taking
Call
me
what?
said he-
Bambi.
Bambi?
that's not nice. My neighbor who's taking me said he hunted for like 15 years before he got a deer, but he also grew up in New
Oh,
Jersey.
great.
So it was a little different, but
Well, you're going to be first time because you're Crosshair. So that's
Yeah, did you tell him that you're already a sniper?
Take your helmet. So
he
you
knows. He has a feeling we're gonna do good. So I'm
You're
excited.
going to do well. Awesome.
I am Boba Fett. The ship you seek is nearby.
So you've heard us talk about it for the past 2 weeks, so you're all familiar with what we're doing. It's the Dad Batch Holiday Special Chrome-tono raffle benefiting the National Down Syndrome Society. So by now you've hopefully seen the absolutely adorable pictures and video on our Instagram feeds featuring our friend Indy Speeder showing off our one-of-a-kind Chrome Cam-tono, which we are auctioning off later in December. We've partnered with NDSS to set up a charity campaign where you can simultaneously donate to a great cause and score yourself chances to win the Chrome-tono and everything we're donating to go into and with it. We started our campaign on Life Day, November 17th, and will continue through Christmas Day. In the first week, without even having announced what would be going inside the Chrome-tono, we raised an amazing $700. And in the second week since then, we've started to reveal some additional sneak peeks into what each of us will be donating. We raised an additional $1,000 for a total of $1,700 so far for the first 2 weeks alone. And we still have over 3 weeks to go. We will reveal the winner in a special mini episode, which will drop on Christmas Day. So please keep following us on our social media channels and listen to watch the show every week to hear more about what else we will be donating into the pile of loot that will go with the Chrome-tono. Every dollar you donate to NDSS through our special page will get you an entry to the raffle. So $1 will get you one entry, $100 gets you 100 entries, and so on. And every dollar counts, as you are all heroes in our eyes for the absolutely overwhelming support you've shown and continue to show every day as we keep spreading the word. So again, thank you all so much for the support so far, and let's keep the momentum going strong as the Dad Batch helps our amazing friend Indy and NDSS celebrate the holidays from Life Day through Christmas. You can visit the campaign page and make your own donation at give.ndss.org/dadbatch.
So awesome.
Nice.
Joe, do you
What's
have
up?
a list? Do you have a running list of what we have as far as what's coming inside the Chrome-tono so far?
Yeah, I do. Let me pull it up real quick. Because I actually asked you that question. So inside the Chrome-tono, as of to this morning, we had Cad Bane blasters, tech goggles, which I just happen to be assembling right now, and Lumilester paint, which John was able to kind of work with the folks over there and snag us, like not just a little bit, but a lot, which is pretty damn impressive. Frozen UV resin, which is another incredible sponsor, and we've been using it. That's what I used for this, and I know John and Brian, you're using it as well, right?
Yeah, I'm printing up some
Already
thermal
used it, baby.
detonators.
Thermal detonators, exactly. Raw Mando bucket, right, John? Is that right? A raw Mando bucket? Didn't you say somebody was donating that?
Oh, I think Kiefer is I need to absolutely confirm that with him because I think he mentioned it to me, but I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, he's
like,
doing it.
Don't
If he doesn't do it, he doesn't care about the children.
Well, so I was thinking of so I have total of 3 crosshair helmets. I'm sorry, not crosshair, hunter helmets. And
you have 3.
Well, yeah, I have the season 2 one, and I have a season 1 one that I repainted, and I have my original one. And I was thinking of giving away my personal original one to add to the Chrome-tono giveaway, just because I have a spare that I haven't used it yet, but I have it here, and I have my season 2. So I was thinking,
original.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to give my personal original hunter helmet, the one I was approved in. I'm the first approval after the CRL, so it's kind of special. So I figured because Echo's going full blast with the metal arm, I figured I'd try to step it up a little and also donate that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the list. So go ahead and pencil that in if you can.
That is incredible. I didn't even get through the list, and you're dropping this awesome.
And it's autographed by Alpha Ignition.
I guess so. It can be. Yeah, I'll sign it inside. No problem. Not that that's worth anything, but the helmet's really cool. So I did paint it myself. So there you go.
John.
So the original John Alpha Ignition painted hunter helmet is going to go in the Chrome-tono. Clone boots from Crow Props. Size 12, size 13, size 12.
Yes.
Okay, size 12. And then I think the last thing I heard was a metal Echo arm. Is that
no? That's for Honda.
That's for
Honda.
Honda.
Part of Honda's thing, yeah.
Oh, that's Honda's thing. Okay, so
I just mix matched.
Okay.
I just mentioned that he did that, but yeah, my helmet's going to be for our thing. Yeah.
So the helmet and then the clone boots, and then that's where we're at as of today, this morning.
Well, also my Liberator pew pew.
Liberator blaster.
Throwing one of those in there too. Yeah.
Okay, so let me add that to the list.
And so I am now adding something to the list. So I don't know. So for anybody that follows either Marco Magaj or Mystery Makers online, he's got a Patreon, and he just revealed within the last day pictures of he's got the model almost ready. I'll have it in my hands hopefully tomorrow. I was talking to him today, so he's going to make sure that I get it. He's got a model for the Jedi Temple Guard helmet as it's seen in Andor. So all of the gold has like little filigree details and everything. So I'm going to print that on the Jupiter in one piece with the frozen resin, and I'm going to fully finish it. So it'll be painted. It'll have the gold on it, all the details. So that'll be part of the stack as well.
This is insane.
A fully finished Temple Guard helmet as seen in Andor.
I might have to donate. Insane. I want one of the
helmets, blasters, shoes, resin, paints.
Dude, wait! So the winner's going to win like so many things already. Like,
yeah.
So fully finished Temple Guard, and then I got Hondo Supply that's on my live right now. He said he's going to throw in a Hondo Supply ID.
Oh, nice!
So
that's a lot of good stuff,
guys. It gets better. Our friends over at Geeky Tiki have donated the 2017 convention exclusive Jabba the Hutt and Bib Fortuna tiki mug set, which goes for like $500 on eBay.
I'm
$500
moly,
dude.
Oh my! I am absolutely.
We can apply for this, right? We can enter this. Can we?
Yeah. So 2017 Jabba the Hutt Bib Fortuna tiki mugs.
Bib Fortuna or Salacious Crumb, one of those ones. It's like it's a giant tiki mug of Jabba, and then it comes with a little shooter.
I feel like I need to put something else in there.
Donate your printer, bro.
Well, that's the whole point, dude. This is all about peer pressure, and you just caving in and throwing in some really awesome things like your fire puncher. I don't know.
If I make fire,
there's a droid.
I'm gonna poop on everything.
There's a droid right behind you.
So we got to have new stuff every week. So you got a week now to think about what else you're going to add to it, Brian.
Damn. All right, guys, that is amazing, gentlemen. What a great start. We're only 2 weeks into this. Thank you, everybody who's already donated. If you've already donated, donate more because they're just extra entries to win all this stuff.
Do we have that worked out? Yeah. Like how that's going to work?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Every entry, every $1 that you donate
is an entry.
One entry.
So every dollar. So if I donate $500, I'm gonna get 500 entries. That's 500 chances.
Yeah, I'll add your name to the list that many times for however many dollars, and then I'm gonna pick one name from the big list.
Wow.
I mean, we are well
Holy
over
shnikes.
$1,000 in stuff.
17.
Easily
yeah.
over 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, just
Easily.
John's
Two
helmet
items.
alone.
2 items are already $1,000.
Yeah, that Temple Guard mask, Disney sells one that doesn't even have the same detail, and it's like $400 or $500 by itself. So
This is insane. Wow.
So these are going in. No big
Yeah,
deal.
those are priceless. So
These are
Holiday
$1,000 on that.
special Chrome-tono.
yeah,
Thank
a
you
lot of
guys
good
for
stuff.
everything that you've been for doing, everything you guys been doing to donate into here, and thank you to all of our sponsors who have been so gracious and generous to their donations. And absolutely, thank you to everybody for tuning in. If you'd like to interact with us more, follow us at Dad Batch Pod on Instagram. And if you'd like to support the show, grab a t-shirt or some stickers. It all starts at thedadbatch.com.
This garbage is nothing like clone armor.
Looks a little tight on you, old man.
Yeah, at least I know how to wear it.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the weekly workbench. This week, the weekly workbench is brought to you by Frozen 3D. For the next few weeks, Frozen is having a crazy good sale on their resins and printers. Right now, you can get the Sonic 4K Mini and 1 kilogram of Aqua Gray resin for $279 with free shipping. Be sure to use our discount code available on our Instagram page for 15% off select items. But hurry, these offers expire December 10th. Gentlemen, who is working on what?
I just built these live, but
On the spot.
on the spot. I disassembled it. That's it. But yeah, I've still been using the Glowforge, getting it dialed in. So I'm going to throw in a bunch of small stuff too, because you can't just have like cars in the Chrome-tono. You got to have like little small things, like little tiny things, like Christmas ornaments and stuff like that. So
What did you
throw in
call
one
it?
of these Dad Batch podcast kind of ornament, and for your tree, little cool stuff. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. But
That TK looks
yeah,
awesome.
I haven't been really been building too much. Making turkeys, man. That's what I've been doing.
Ooh, I like turkey.
You like turkey?
Is that it, Joe?
Yeah, that's it. I don't have a lot.
So I haven't been working on costume stuff. I actually started dremeling out the Vader that I showed off last week. But I realized once I started dremeling everything out on the Vader face, I don't have lenses. So I was like,
wait, what are you dremeling? That helmet was done, right?
no,
it was raw.
It was a raw cast, but it was casted in black.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I gotta dremel out the teeth and the vent and the eyes and stuff. But when I was dremeling out the eyes, what's up?
Yeah, sorry, you had mentioned you were thinking about doing like the scarred up, like torn up version. I had a heart attack thinking you'd actually started dremeling that. I was like, no.
Don't you dare.
Once I'm all done, I'll like take a weed whacker to it and just
No.
no. But then I realized I don't have lenses for it, so I hit up Pew Pew Crafts and they're sending me some lenses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's see what else. I don't know if I talked about it on here when I sold my car. Did I talk about that on the show?
Yeah. How easy and seamless it was.
Right. So I sold my car, and then I was like getting prepared to purchase my new car.
Mm-hmm.
But then, my dad had passed. So then I took over his van, which is, it's a 2000 Dodge Caravan with only 100,000 miles on it. Like he took care of it. He never drove it. Right. And, I took it over, and immediately after taking it over, I was just like flooded with like all the good times, all the memories. And I was texting like one of my high school friends, and I was like, dude, I took over my dad's van. And he's like, the one that we used to steal? And I was like, yeah, that one. So I've been like upgrading the van. I took off the year 2000 Dodge stereo cassette tape deck, and I put in like this tablet touchscreen.
Oh, so that's
with
what
like
you did.
Apple CarPlay, and then I put a backup camera, and upgrading all the speakers and stuff. So it's been fun. I growing up, like as a teenager and stuff, I was always working on cars, and it never hit me to like, work on my dad's car. So it's been fun. It's been fun working on it.
Dude, Dodge Caravans
the
are sick. They're all-wheel drive, right?
This one's just the front wheel drive.
No? Oh, okay.
But it is
old enough, yeah.
It's a 6-cylinder, so it chugs gas, but it's got some pep. And it's like brand new inside.
Oh, really?
You really
Dude,
took care of it.
23-year-old car with only 100,000 miles on it. It's like,
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's not used.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's what I've been building, and then we've been packing and stuff for the house. The house move, which you guys are invited for a moving party.
Woo. Just buy some pizzas and beers. We'll be there.
When what do you have like one specific day you're thinking of, or is it going to happen over several days?
Well, there's several days that we're moving like all the house stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's one specific day when we're gonna move the important stuff.
Printers.
Like
your stuff.
printers, yeah. The printers, the Vaders, the collectibles, the statues, the helmets, the costumes.
The important stuff.
The important stuff. Yeah.
And what day, what week are you looking at?
I don't know. Well, I'll message you guys.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
If I can, man, I'll drive up there, dude. I'm pretty good at moving, man.
Yeah.
I can move.
It'll
I've
be
moved so
like
many times, dude.
It'll be like one of those B-pull sales that you come to. Like there's going to be so much stuff where I'm just like, oh yeah, take that.
No, I don't want to take anything home.
I'll dibs on the R2, so no takesy backsies.
That's funny.
That's all I got going on for me this week, guys.
I'm gonna go quick. I gotta walk off for 1 second, but I'm gonna say something real quick. I've been making these little benches. This is gonna be really hard to explain, but for work, I'm making something for one of my accounts, and Rami catted it up, and I've been resin printing these little benches. It's a replica of a skate spot. So I've been like resin printing a lot of those, which is keeping me away from doing everything else. And then really my ornament for Hondo Supply. I've been just like cranking on that because Joe sent the most awesome kit of parts and it was like almost too much. And I had no plan. I can't plan anything. I have to just start painting things and gluing things and just like, oh, a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And then like ideas come to my head. And that was really fun to make and just kind of make it come to life. I've been posting it on Instagram a bunch and then Hondo's pumping it up now. So go there and check it out. So that's it.
Totally
That's
forgot to tell you guys, we got to talk about these.
We do.
Oh,
we should make
talk
a
about
section.
it during the deep.
We should make a section. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
different
weekly
segment.
Workbench.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
well.
weekly workbench. Yeah, there you go.
Who went first, John or Ted?
I haven't gone yet. It was Joe.
Joe, what did you work on?
For the ornament?
Yeah.
Yeah, so got the idea actually from Brian. He kept saying visor, do text visor. And so that was the idea, but I'm like, well, I can't just make text visor, like it has to light up, right? And so I have to offset the red light that comes off his goggles. How am I going to do that? So I started thinking I'm going to have to do layers. So not just, maybe one piece that's two-sided, but maybe the overall ornament will be two-sided, but I'm going to need layers to stack to put a light underneath. And then I don't want, and then if it's going to be see-through, like a heads-up display thing, do I really want to have the Republic cog or, no, let me put what's on the side of his helmet, the skull and spark, which I love and I miss for season 2, but I get they're trying to go undercover, which sucks, but I get it. But I love that emblem so much. I'm like, screw it. So with the Glowforge, and it's not too difficult. You just kind of get the imagery and stick it in the system and etch it out. So I had that as the backdrop for the HUD. And then the other side, I'm like, what am I going to do the other side? Do I do the cog? And then I'm like, man, like text com compad on his hand just kind of stands out because I don't know, it's just something cool. Everybody else has theirs on their arm, but Tech has his on his hand. For some reason, he decided to put his on his hand, and like, you know what? So I went and used the frozen resin because I had some of that left, and I got my hand plate, but literally used mesh mixer and just cut the circle out, the circle piece, because I wanted to keep the overall ornament shape. So I just had a flat ornament shape and then put that comms piece on, glued it on. But I'm like, this thing has to light as well. So now I'm going to need, this ornament's getting thicker because I need to be able to stick multiple lights in there with some wiring and whatnot. And that's kind of how it came to be. But it was fun. It was actually kind of easy. There's not a lot to it. It's just the Glowforge does it all. I just have to assemble it. And then the painting was like super fast. I had the leftover Code Red paint for Tech and just regular white paint, weathered it. And I was like, it was one of those things where you look at it, you're like, oh man, I'm done. Like I thought I had more to do, but it was already done. So it was a really fun project. I'm really glad Hondo, Mike reached out to us and asked us to do it, but it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. John, what do you got on the workbench?
Well, I did do my ornament as well. Mine isn't as flashy as a couple of yours, as all of yours actually. Mine's probably the simplest one. I don't have any lights or sounds.
But it's beauty and it's simplicity.
I had a theme in my head that was like Decay of the Republic type of vibe. So I wanted to sort of represent that a little bit, but also make it Hunter. So I used the ornaments that Joe sent me, the acrylic ones, but I used this like rust paint, the one that Brian recommended a few weeks ago, which came out pretty cool. And I also put that little, the knife sheath that he has on his left arm. I put that next to the skull so people can drop like a little candy cane or, as Mike said, a doobie in there.
Did he say that?
Off the tray? Yeah, when he was showing it off yesterday, he's like, "Oh, it's for a doobie." I was like,
Somebody had commented that in the comments, and then he repeated it.
Dang.
Yeah, but it's for candy canes.
Yes, we only promote candy canes.
Yeah,
peppermint flavor
things.
Is that what the kids are calling them now?
No death sticks. Yeah, but besides the ornament, I've been so I have a Clone Trooper mold that I've had for a little while, an animated Phase 2 grunt essentially, and the mold was getting a little sticky, like I'd be pulling helmets and it was getting really stuck on one part, and a little piece chunked out. So I had to go and actually buy some mold release, which I've never used on my molds before, but I really want this mold to last a little longer. So whatever, I threw a little bit of that in there, and I cast 3 helmets yesterday actually, and sent 2 to Island Fett because he is all about those Clone Trooper helmets.
I'll send you a link for the mold release that I use, because I was using just like
I called Reynolds. And I asked him to recommend me one.
Yeah,
specifically for what was going on.
I've been using I always used mold release on all my molds, but it's some of them are the kind that you have to like wash afterwards.
That's the one I got. Yeah.
Okay. The mold release that I'll send you the link for is the best one that I've ever used, because it's mold release that they use on edible items that they cast in silicone.
Crisco.
Because
so no residue.
There's 0 residue, and it just wipes off.
Sounds good.
No,
yeah, definitely send me that link.
Crisco.
Hand.
But aside from making those helmets, I'm also printing some commander parts in resin because I made 3 helmets, 2 went out, so I'm keeping 1, and I want to make a commander finally. So I've been printing that stuff on the Jupiter. Both machines are printing.
They're probably done by resin. Just FDM.
Well, I'm not going to wear the helmet. It's going to display. No, I have the FDM pieces that Steven sent me, but I don't want to sand and fill. So I'm going to just do resin and just put it on a stand.
That's right.
And I've also been. I'm not going to mention that. What?
Why don't one of you guys print me a fire puncher out of resin?
Dude,
That'd be heavy.
You have a
bro.
resin printer.
That'd be too heavy.
5,000 pieces.
On the Mars too,
George.
Dude,
George.
what the? Remember I
What?
printed the
George?
DC-17 in resin, and it was like the worst
Yeah.
mistake of my life.
It weighs so much,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, don't
That thing
do
is
that.
So
Don't do that.
heavy.
Dude,
And
John,
it's only half resin too. There's FDM parts on it, and it's like ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. It's a beast,
I
man.
stored it away in the garage. Like there's no reason to grab that thing ever again.
It's as heavy as if it was real. Like,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like it
it's like
feels
too
like
heavy.
Anything that can get dropped probably shouldn't be printed in resin, and blasters get dropped. I mean, unless you want to drop it and watch it explode.
I haven't
Unless
dropped it
you-
yet. But
Unless you're going to use the frozen onyx. Impact
frozen
Plus.
onyx.
Yeah.
nice,
Frozen onyx.
nice.
I'm hoping I'm gonna reach out because they've been asking for some reviews from us for some of the resins that we've been using.
Let's go.
On,
Make
like,
some shorts.
how we like it and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'll compile those and then ask them for some of that Impact Plus so we can start printing blasters.
What would you
so-
make with that? What would
well-
you make with that?
Just a disclaimer
Nails
though,
and a hammer.
David Neth bought some of those bottles, and he bought like one, I think, and he was actually printing the Cad Bane blasters, not the one because I printed him a set, and they ended up being a little small, so he was reprinting them. But
Okay.
he was saying that he thinks because apparently the resin we use takes about 3 seconds each, exposure time, 3 to 5 seconds, whatever. For that resin, it's like 25 seconds. So it takes
Whoa.
so much
Print's
longer
going to
to
be
print.
really long.
Yeah, so he was like 75 hours in, and the blaster like detached from the supports, and it was just he was so upset, and it was like a huge waste, So I think he printed the rest in the ABS like resin, but he was mentioning that maybe that really durable resin might not be the best for big stuff, more for like smaller things,
Small, yeah.
which is a bummer because we were saying, a blaster would be amazing in that material because it wouldn't shatter or whatever. But
Well, because I'm thinking,
David's watching Tech's live stream right now, so maybe he'll weigh in over there.
I'm thinking like like on an E11, how it has just like 50 little pieces.
right,
Like I'm
that's
thinking
what I
that
think it would be ideal
be
for.
good.
Yeah, because a
Ramey,
big
what-
thing like that, might not work so well. Yeah, sorry, and I guess that's it. Go ahead.
Ramey, what you working on?
Well, being in that I'm in Las Vegas, I'm not actually working on anything at the moment. I handed off the Daft Punk stuff to John over the weekend.
Chrome
So
I do have
it's
it.
now in the queue at Chrome and Go, so that'll be coming up here at some point. And then, so for my ornament, I don't know if anybody had seen Hondo's live stream. But I posted it on my Instagram feed. So, having been the one who did the 3D modeling for Hondo for the 3D versions that I think he made available, I was able to take the model and kind of modify it. And so, on the Bad Batch side, I added Echo's headset and the little knobs on his head to the skull. And then on the back side, I put the Republic logo on that one so that it was two-sided. But then I added, because when Echo was in his original clone armor, he had a blue handprint on his chest. So I put the handprint across the Republic logo. So on one side, you've got Republic Echo, and then on the other side, you've got Bad Batch Echo. But then I added, there's like a little channel inside and some mechanics that are in there. And if you pull the little string, Echo's arm swings up and he does the salute. So
It's
So
so
that-
good.
I love that feature, man.
that's what
I love that
and
feature.
I intentionally did it kind of like sort of cheesy, like old school Christmas ornament. Like I could have made the arm look a little
Perfect.
more real and stuff, but I made it match the aesthetic of what Hondo's ornaments looked like, and made sure that it looked kind of like a Christmas ornament. The little bead that's on the end of the string that you pull is the Bad Batch skull, and
Oh,
It's so
awesome.
good.
You guys killed it. Did everyone talk? Sorry, because I had to leave for a second. Did everyone talk about their ornament, this exact specifics?
I don't
Yeah, you
know
should-
if Record. Did you
Oh, yeah.
mention yours?
Yeah,
Susan?
you did
Do
go-
yours
you
real
did go,
quick,
Steven.
and then Brian can go.
Yeah.
So on mine, believe it or not, I had like creative writer's block when I was just staring at all the pieces that that Tech sent us.
Same, dude. Same.
I opened that box and there was like literally 10 pieces there, and I was just like, what am I gonna do?
Same.
It's all about options.
And you used all of them. You used all. Well, almost all.
It's
of
funny
them.
you say that because so I started thinking about it, right? Because I was looking at all your guys' ornaments, and you know what? I love. Before I talk about mine, I love how you guys did all of your ornaments like as if it's the character, you know?
Yeah.
Because Tex is like so overly engineered.
Yeah.
Just like how Tech would do it. You know, it's got to have lights. It's got to have the HUD. You know, I love how John, you know, how Hunter, when you look at Hunter in the Bad Batch, his costume is simple, right?
Yeah.
But he's the leader.
This is the most simple. Yeah.
And that's like yours reflects that, John. And then Echo's,
Simple.
it's, you know, Echo, it's just like he's got the salute. There's robotic
mechanical.
things. There's mechanical things going on there. Crosshairs, same thing. It's like Crosshairs kind of like the you know, the odd
It's
one out of the group.
multidimensional.
Shady cat.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's multidimensional.
So when I was looking at mine, I literally had the stack of all the ornaments in my hand, and that's when it hit me. I was like, I just need to make my ornament freaking thick, like
Makes
THICC
sense.
thick.
Big
So
and loud.
I literally took 6 ornaments.
Wrecking ball.
I took 6 of the ornaments, I glued them together, and then I was left with kind of like this hollow space inside. And then I was like, dude, I'm going to make this light up because my 99 on my ornament is the blood 99 on Wrecker's helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made it light up. And then I had a sound module that I connected with an LED filament that runs around the internal parameter.
That's how you did that.
Yeah.
Is
But
that
what
like
was really cool? What's really cool is when the sound module is talking, the LED filament pulses with his voice. I was
So
like,
good.
oh, this is perfect.
How did you because you didn't share any build pics of yours. You were just like, here's my ornament.
Yeah.
Did you put a little speaker inside there, or like a tiny little speaker, or like, okay,
It's a full,
Cool.
it's a full on like
Sick.
3 and I had to do it. I was thinking about like whoever wins it. Like,
yeah.
I had to make it so that they can change out the batteries.
the batteries, right?
Right. That's why I put
Yeah.
mine external. I was thinking about doing mine inside, but I made mine external.
So my back plate with the with the Republic cog, it magnets on.
Oh,
I
sweet.
saw that. That's pretty rad. That was an awesome idea. I wish I had thought of that. I didn't, and I'm a magnet guy, and I didn't think about it.
But I heard, I don't know if it came through earlier on the show, but Hondo was saying that he's going to put all of our ornaments up as a set.
I think so. Yeah.
Like all of them, all 5.
Yeah.
They were. He's
And they-
debating whether he's going to do them individually or one.
I think
set.
he might make more cheddar if he splits them up. You know what I mean?
So too.
I
If he
think
splits them up,
we
he's
need
going
to
to
tell
make
him.
more
We need
money.
to tell him to make them 5 individuals.
Yeah.
But if somebody wins all 5, bonus points.
Oh, that's aggressive. I
Dude,
love it. I love it.
If they win,
It's
if
so
they
sick.
if they happen to win all 5, which is probably not going to happen,
gonna happen. Yeah.
maybe it's not going to happen. But
They're gonna
let's
get
just say
one.
they did. Let's give them a trifecta and throw them into the NDSS thing. And say, hey, we'll
Oh yeah,
get
for
you
sure. They'll get entry. They'll get the if somebody buys
all 5.
all 5, we'll give them.
If we're not selling it as a group, they're not going to buy all 5.
Whatever they spent in value of no, that's
No,
too much.
That's
That'd
a
be
lot.
too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
too much.
We'll give them
We'll come up
50
with something.
entries.
Nobody's going to win all 5 though.
That's the
I
I
thing.
can
don't
even
know.
win one. I can
Unless
even win
we
one.
put them as a bunch. Yeah. Unless
Somebody
we do a
would-
group.
The idea, if somebody wants all 5, the only way it's going to happen is if it's offered as a set and they win the set.
They get-
I don't think anybody
Right.
would win all 5.
No.
They get
Unless,
99
unless
entries.
they're just
They get
throwing a
99
ridiculous
It would
entries.
be
amount of money at it,
shame
which I
to-
guess maybe is the way to go.
It'd
I'm
be a shame
throwing
to
this-
separate them.
I'm throwing this out there right now. If one of our listeners wins all 5 of our ornaments, we will give you 50 entries into
99. Give them
Chrome-
99
the
entries.
Chrome-tono.
Oh, 99 entries, bro.
99 entries.
They're not going to win all 5, but guess what? It's going to a good
Unless we do it as
cause.
a group. Yeah, that's the only way. So is that consensus? So you guys don't want to do it as a group? I thought we were doing it as a group.
Well, we
Well, it's
want
not
Mike
up
to
to
raise
us.
the most money he can. As much.
It's not going to raise a lot.
Yeah, I'm torn, right?
He gave us the option to choose.
I like
If we
being
wanna
together
separate
just
them,
because it's
or-
cool, but I think he's going to make more money if he splits us up.
That's true. People have a certain
Which is-
feelings towards whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Make a
Plus,
buy it now
if-
button for like
Imagine if somebody
$5,000
wins.
or something.
There you go.
Imagine if somebody
It
wins
should
all
be just
4.
a lower price for. So there should be a set price if we do it as a group. That like
Like a minimum, right?
it starts at this price rather
Reserve.
than being
That'd
like
be it, John.
Reserve.
What would be the minimum then? Because if
Well,
you
that's
say,
up
hey,
to
here's
Mike
the minimum
Bickerton.
for all 5.
$200. I don't know.
Let's talk to Mike about that because he
Dude, I
has
made a
the
bid for $250 for one ornament last year. And
like
I
how
didn't
much
get
did
it.
they go for last year? That's the
250.
thing. What was the most?
200, and then it'll.
What was the most expensive ornament? Right.
Mine-
Mine
I
went
get
for
him on-
275, and it was
Yeah.
really simple. Mine went for 275.
All right.
Back.
Do I talk about
last
my
year.
ornament now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Brian.
So all those acrylic pieces were super fun. Same thing, Steven. I got mine and I was like, what the F do I do with all this? And because it was all acrylic, you're instantly
Yeah.
like, it should be clear and it should have lights. And then I really was just like you said, like for the most part, we were sharing what we were doing. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do lights. Like Texas filled with lights, and Wrecker, I kind of had an idea of what you're doing. And then I had that concept of adding a little acrylic, the little acrylic rangefinder on there. And Joe and I were going back and forth on to make it. And I had a completely different idea of what that was going to be. I wanted it to kind of flip out of the ornament and be the rangefinder. But then what you sent me was like so perfect. So it has this little acrylic rangefinder right over the eye, which is super cool. So it's crosshair. And then I added multi-layers, kind of like what y'all did. And mine's concept is it has like 3 modes. There's a Bad Batch mode. So it's the Bad Batch logo, and it's actually red acrylic. So if you did hang it on your tree in front of a light, the light is going to shine through and you're going to see that it's red. And then you're also going to see the Imperial cog that's on the backside. That's magneted on. Magnets. If you take that magnet plate off, there's sniper mode. So you have crosshairs eye.
That's awesome.
That's on his helmet. And then there's a third mode that will be for whoever wins it. And then it can be displayed to the world. That is underneath the cover that magnet's on. So that was super fun.
So it's a surprise.
It's a surprise. Yeah, I haven't. I showed Mike and I showed you guys, so you know what it is. But there's the 3 modes of it, and totally the concept as I was doing it was, wow, Crosshair is very dimensional, right? Like he's good, he's bad. What is he? That like just kind of was one of those things that just like discovered.
I was thinking
which
the
is usually how
modification
my-
of a fire puncher, like when he's trying to do like shoot a certain shot, right, with a cable.
Too. Yeah.
He slaps something on his fire puncher, and then he engages. Then he takes it off and does something else, right? He's constantly adjusting and modifying his weapon.
Did you add the mirrored discs?
No, so
Well,
I did make a little leather strap and stained it and riveted it on, so it does have those little discs, and the leather strap was to represent his bandolier that he wears.
Nice.
So like, there's some pretty cool things that I love it when I don't have a plan for stuff like this, and I make it, and just these little nuggets kind of appear, and then when it all comes together, and you're like, whoa! It's
Look at
like
these boys on
planned it.
here.
Lads, we've got company. You want to sit with us? That's never happened before.
Out of the blue.
Hey.
Dude, I was in bed. I was literally in bed, and then I get this panic. Is
it
text
like-
from Steve, like, "Dude, you got to get on." I'm like, "Oh man!"
Is it like 4 a.m. over there? What time?
What'd you
is it?
say?
Is it like
It's like
4
2
a.m.
a.m. where he's at.
Yeah. I'm
He's
I'm
in the
calling
Arctic
in
time
from
zone.
my wigwam, and it's very cold here. I just
All
put
right,
another
Mike.
log on the fire, and here I am with you guys.
Thanks for dropping in real quick, man. We were debating on here. We were going back and forth, and I'm
Oh, you
like,
brought
let's just
for
get Mike
this?
on here
Oh, wow. Okay.
and have
Settle
him
it
settle
now.
it right now.
Let's do this.
How are we gonna sell? How are we gonna put up our ornaments? Are we gonna put them up individually or as a group?
Settle it for us, because we can't decide.
I think.
Okay,
well,
so here's my take on the whole thing, right? Like this is more ornaments. I'm looking over at the stack right now. This is more ornaments than we've ever had before. I mean, I've only done this one other time, and it was 10. That was manageable. The amount of people that have come out to just like lose their mind over how excited they are about this project is overwhelming. So I kind of feel like we should let's just at this point, let's be as unconventional as we can. Like, if you're going to bid on the Bad Batch style Dad Batch ornaments, let's make the Echo metal, or the metal Echo arm, an additional prize, and have it be you got to make your tree the Havoc Marauder. That's what I'm thinking.
That's sick.
Like, why wouldn't
Oh
we?
my God.
You know what I mean? I mean, why wouldn't we? What are we gonna do? Like, parse this out? Like, the Dad Batch is supposed to stay together.
That's
We
what
can't just be parsing it out.
We're a squad like family.
Yeah.
It might be.
You want to separate the bunch?
It might be. I don't
Alright.
know. That's. I mean.
So then would
that's
you
my
have
take.
like a floor price that you'd started at that would be higher than the
reserve price.
I mean, there's. Yeah. I think with all of them, I started them last year, and I think all of them just started $100. And that
So
got
what
out of
would the
hand.
group start at?
Start our
That
set
guy.
at 99.
Really get those bids coming in. You know what I mean? Like, let's get that thing. You know, I want to be like one of the Southern auctioneers and just go live.
45, 45,
Hey, we got
Get you a
right.
Get you a
But I'm
cat
thinking,
hat.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think just given all of what you're getting with how much work you guys all put in this, I mean, like, let's start it at 250. Start at 250.
We're throwing in 50 extra entries into the Chrome-tono raffle also.
So whoever wins that group,
What's the date that closes?
Christmas Day.
Oh, what if
So
that's going to be
by
a
the time you're done. Well, when does yours end?
We're going to start at December 11th, and then it closes on the 12th. Like, it's just 24 hours. I'm pretty
Oh
much-
yeah, then it will be done by then. Or
Yeah,
you'll be done
yeah.
by then. So
Yeah. All right. So that's a
Rad.
good prize. That's a very good prize.
What was?
I mean,
can I ask?
like, the other thing you bring? Yeah, go ahead.
What was the most expensive ornament that went last year?
I think it was. Let me look on this. I believe it was John Flake. I think paid for it. And I
was it
think
Jackson's?
I think it might have been Jackson's, and I think it went for almost $800.
Okay, so hear me out here.
Okay, here we go.
Hear me out here, and think of the
I'm
numbers.
listening. I'm ready.
$599, the whole set, Bad Batch, with the metal arm, with 50 engines. Steven's look on his face.
But listen, if I'm going to do them individually and started them all at 100, that's $500 guaranteed right there. So why start the group any lower than that? I'm with
That's
Brian.
what I'm saying. That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
if you're going to do it, I support you getting the most money that you can get, and however it works to do that is really the right answer. So,
I'm
if no one bites,
the
then-
arm.
No,
If no one
trust
bites
me.
and separate them, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I'm
Okay,
looking
here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. I don't know if having it as a set is the best thing to get the most amount of money, because you might have one of our ornaments that sells for $700 and one of our ornaments that sells for $300 and one of our ornaments that sells for another $300 or $250 or whatever. But it is breaking up the set.
I mean, I'm looking at Ben Huckabee's went for $750
his
last
was-
year. His
wow,
was crispy.
yeah.
See,
Did his light up and
last
have
year.
sounds?
No, his
his
was like
is-
fully.
His was like
fully
a
rusted
functional
up.
clip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane. And then we
It's a
also
custom
had.
piece.
Yeah, it was. And then Island Fets went for $726 last year. So I mean,
That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
we did $5,000 for 10.
Dude,
So
$5.99 is not out of the question.
You want to do a $5.99 opening bid? That's what you're
to
thinking?
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna
That's
turn
a
off
flex.
people.
That's a flex,
Yeah.
boys.
All right.
Here's what I
we
would
talk
say.
about it. I think doing them. I want to do it as a set, but I think we're gonna run people out.
Because okay, hear me out on this. If somebody wins John's for $300 and then they end up getting Tex for $200.
Oh, John's gonna brag like crazy.
No. Just
No, I wouldn't.
I'm just saying.
No, I
I'm just
wouldn't.
saying. They've already now
That's not what it's
collected.
about.
They've now already collected 2 out of the 5, and they're gonna want to win. They're gonna want to win.
All right.
the
But people
others.
might not have the money for all 5
Yeah.
individually.
Yeah, and some people just like one character over the others, and they're gonna focus all their energy on that one. And honestly, like if there's somebody that's really passionate about Crosshair and isn't as into the other ones, I would like to see them be able to put more money up for Crosshairs than pricing them out of the equation altogether by making a bid on all of them.
And let's be honest, that's
All right,
really
but-
most people.
You guys,
I agree.
what'd you bring me
Sound
on
logic.
here for? You guys already decided what you wanted to do. What
This
the
is
heck is this?
we gotta
We
talk
need to
it
I was in
out.
bed.
Yeah.
Talk it out, man.
I was
We gotta
asleep.
talk it
I was
out.
asleep, and I woke up for this. Unbelievable.
We got to talk it out. It's what we do on the Marauder.
Mike, we needed to see your bedhead.
I feel like
and
I
we
feel
just
I
wanted
feel
to
like
hear
I'm
your voice.
Omega here. Oh, I'm like, you guys sure you want to do that? Is that great?
Yeah.
Not sh-
All right, let's do them individually then.
All right, Mike, go back to bed.
I mean, to
Deal.
be honest, now actually, I'm kind of interested in this because, like, I feel like whoever the winner is, whoever gets bid the most, like, they got to throw something else in there. Like, there needs
Well,
to, there
Echo's
needs
already
to be.
throwing in that arm.
Oh, John's already.
Echo's got the
gonna-
arm, so that's a flex.
You mean of
I'm
us
not throwing
five?
the arm, but the arm's being thrown in. Yes.
Yeah.
You're saying of
Yeah.
us 5. If one of us gets the higher bid, then we have to add something else.
Something juice. Well, so it's like
Well,
okay,
it's-
so
it won't be me.
So Stevie, are you throwing in for the Chrome-tono?
Oh yeah, we all have.
Oh, dude, you don't even know.
Well,
Dude.
so okay, so let's.
You have to listen to this
It's,
episode when it goes
it's
live.
the stuff. The
You got
stuff in the
to listen,
Chrome-tono is
bro.
going to be crazy.
I'm
We just
contributing
mentioned a bunch of
badge
stuff.
for it. I'm contributing a badge for it.
I threw in a finished
I
hunter
saw
helmet.
it. I was watching Joe's live. I saw what was going on.
Cheeky.
You're not going to be able to ship the Chrome-tono. That's the problem. It's so heavy.
No.
You're gonna have to put it on freight.
It's gonna be a
Special
crate.
delivery.
gonna
Right?
be
You're
several
18 wheelers going to show up. It's shipping in a pallet, right?
God, now that you say that, I'm hoping it's not international shipping. Can you imagine? It's going to cost us more to ship that thing.
It's an international
disclaimer.
winner. They're paying shipping.
Yeah, international pay shipping. Let's just lay that out right
Should have
now.
let them know before they put in all that money. You guys are
Yeah.
cold blooded, man.
It's the retcon. It's fine.
That's a crosshair move right there. So all I'm
Contemplated
saying
throwing
is
fire punch in there.
just got to break it down and then just re-glue it back together.
Mike, to answer your
yeah.
question, yes, the dad batch will throw in something for the highest bidder.
All right, let's. I mean, I love that there's just a complete Jacob's ladder going on here because it's like, okay, well, if we're gonna break them apart, someone's still gonna win big in almost every way. And again,
Yeah.
charity on both sides of these between to help out Indie Speeder and I mean, it's just this is the thing that I come back to when I think about this at a time where the fandom loves to. I mean, we seem to be a little more united after the most recent show. But like, is there a fandom out there that, in my opinion, is as charitable consistently among any other form of pop culture? Like, we did this.
Doubtful.
I did this last year. You guys are doing this thing this year. We're doing Ornament Project again. There has been no person that has even blinked about being like, "Oh, I don't know if I can get involved." Every single person's thrown in. I feel like the Chrome-tono is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much fun.
Well, yeah.
Like we just got done
It's a
talking
mix
about
of-
like how fun it was.
And it's a mix of also.
There's the same people donated in week 1, turned around and also donated again in week 2, and they're the same people that we see commenting on our post to say, "I'm going to donate again when I get paid next." So I mean, it's
the support is
they just keep
incredible.
going. It's crazy.
It's a good sense of
people
community.
They're actually saying that when my next paycheck, these are people that are living, week to week, it seems like, and they're still wanting to donate. That's pretty rad. That's pretty rad.
I take a note. I feel like I take a note of it. I mean, I definitely recognize. I think there's something. I think all of you guys recognize that too. That you kind of get into this position of a little bit of notoriety within the fandom, right? Like none of us here we've grown, amassed enough of a following to be able to. I don't want to say contribute or steer some opinions, but I always have kind of felt like there is a certain responsibility once the community has put you up on that level to say, hey, we recognize what you do. We appreciate what you do. We like what you do. I've always kind of felt that there is a way you have to give back to that to keep that what makes the fandom so rad. You got to do that to give back. Right. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
I think that's go ahead.
I think the irony of it all too is like, I know for myself, when I joined the Legion, it's because like through my job, we would do like community charity work. Like once a year we would do that. And then when I learned about the Legion and learned what it does, that was why I really joined. And that's really why like I still troop for the most part, is to try to give back. And this is just an extension of it. And the fact that we all get to make cool shit. Sorry, Steven, bleep. Like we have the ability to do it and we think it's fun, right? Like you make these badges, they're fun. I know it's work, and it is a job, quote unquote, but it's something we enjoy doing. So us just coming up with more stuff to throw in the Chrome-tono, the ornaments, I think we all jumped on you at the same time. Like, yeah, we all want to do ornaments. Please, thank you. Okay.
Oh, you guys ganged up on me. I didn't even have a choice. That was
We were like, we're doing. Yeah,
I post about it. I'm like, hey, what's up, you guys? We're gonna do the ornament project, and like every single one of you individually was like, we're in, dude. We're in. I'm like, all right.
That's how here's the files. Just go.
Yeah. God, get out of here. Gee, like,
leave me
Ryan,
alone.
well said.
Yeah, but I just think, I mean, it's for my overall impression of why I feel like I continue to focus on this fandom. And, I think what at these kind of times just shows off in a way we're just using Star Wars as a vessel to show the kind of work that I think that we all know that we have to do and what we want to do and what we want to contribute
100%.
to. Right. And, and if that is making the world smaller through being more empathetic to each other, to understanding, all of our situations, that, hey, cool. Like we're in a place of privilege to be able to make things and to not have to decide between being like, could I not be as charitable because I have to focus on my own finances, or could I not be as charitable because I just got to like button down about other things going on in my life. And that's what I mean, like giving back. That's why I think like all of this is, every year this comes around and I just see the character of most of the fandom that I think we're all part of. And I'm like, this is the best crew to be a part of.
It's 100%. An honor. It's an honor to be able to do it.
Well said, guys. Well said.
That was sweet, Mike.
And you know what? Awesome. Next year is just going to get bigger.
Yeah. Oh no! Come on, man. We're trying.
Can I just have this 1 year at a time?
I gotta shut.
Making the eyes of the angel.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start in like March just to be like, all right, I'll put this out there, and at this point, John will have sent me like 15. He'd be like, I don't know, do you need any of these? Like, yeah, sure, dude. Okay.
John's just gonna chrome them all.
I'm gonna have to get I'm gonna have to get a separate storage unit. My wife's gonna be like, "What is this charge for $65 a month?" I'd be like, it's the ornament project. I can't. I don't know where to put them all. So
right on. Mike, thank you so much for dropping by. Go ahead and let the people know all your stuff.
Where they can find you.
So bring your bucks, save your monies. Spare the avocado toast for the next week, so we can make it rain. Honda Supply, you guys have all been incredible contributionists to this project, and Joe, I gotta have you on Armor Party, and because the charity is that we decided, and I asked Joe about this specifically, but the biggest thing when you're vetting a charity at some point is like, you have to also look at where the money goes. Right. And understanding that, like, I'm a person who wants to put money into the hands of the people it's supposed to help, not to administrators. And that's not to say that, like, some of the bigger charities out there aren't worth the contributions that you're giving them. But I personally am one of those people who's like, I got to see evidence that it's working, that it's going where they say it's going. And so we landed on Mission 22, which is a really fantastic organization that helps veterans who've come back from with suffer from PTSD, TBIs that have been associated with combat. We have military sexual trauma, and they have actual therapists that are on staff to be able to help not just the soldiers, but also their families as well. And there's no, when it comes down to it, and I said this in the little note, that you can be a person who is critical of the way that maybe we've done things in this country, but it doesn't let us ignore the people who go over that don't really have a choice of what the mission is. And when they come back, it's our duty as fellow citizens of this country, and as fans of Star Wars and as fans of, just trying to be good humans to each other. That's where I feel like we could get called to help each other. And so this is a great organization to help, and Mission 22 is doing some amazing work. So I'm thrilled to be able to support that charity for this year, and then next year we'll do a different charity and just kind of keep spreading the love. So find us, follow along. The bidding's going to happen December 11th over at Honda Supply. We're going to run it for about 24 hours, probably end probably midnight-ish your time. So maybe like 2 a.m. my time. Stay up late and drink a lot of Red Bull, brother. And, and get it going. It's going to be awesome. So Honda Supply, and then if you're listening to Half Yins on the show, Armor Party, we're going to get back into it and talk about all the things that we're going to build for this upcoming year. So stoked.
Nice.
Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to get out of bed.
You're killing it, Mike. We love you. Thanks for coming on.
I
Start
love you
calling
guys.
Killer Mike.
This is great. Yeah, right. Nobody speak. Nobody get choked.
Sorry to wake you up, man, but thank you for stopping by. And ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. Mike Forrester, be a good human.
Night.
Later, boys.
Yeah,
Later, man.
Soldiers for the waters.
Yeah, people don't suck.
What a surprise.
That was sick. Good job, Steven.
We're being hailed. This encryption's new. This might take a while.
Willow is out now, so I have not seen any of it. But so just for folks that are paying attention, so 2 episodes came out today, so that's their premiere. I'm assuming that's the same thing that they showed at the red carpet event that they had, I think, last night. So 1 additional episode each week on Wednesdays, kind of like Andor, and the 8th episode, so it's an 8-episode season, with the final episode airing on January 11th. So Walt Disney's Asia Pacific unit had a content showcase earlier today, and they showed a combination of stills and trailers for a lot of content, some of which we will be particularly interested in. So for Ahsoka, they showed 3 still frames, one with Ahsoka wielding her sabers, one with Ahsoka standing on what was described as a circle inside of a cave with a bright light beaming down on her. And then the third still that they showed was Sabine. So folks at that event got to see an official still of Sabine Wren.
Rad.
Mandalorian, they showed a new season 3 trailer, which was largely a rehash of the trailer that we got before, but they did focus a little more on implying that Din was making up for having taken off his helmet. And they also imply that Bo-Katan is a bit more of an antagonist this season.
That kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does.
Yeah. So they showed a Visions Volume 2 trailer. So another assortment of animation. And some of what they showed was stop motion, which I think could be really cool. So that's a bit of a difference from what. So it was all anime in the first volume, but now we're seeing at least 1 episode is going to be stop motion this time.
Like
so
Tim Burton style, like over the top, or
yeah, it didn't describe it in enough detail to make that kind of conclusion, but it was stop motion. So,
because that could be, that could be
Bringing it back
cool-
to the
cool-
roots.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like
Ray Harryhausen.
THEs and Hoth and stuff. And
Do they know the studio working on that? On that one?
What I saw did not say which studio was involved in that one.
Okay.
that's rad.
So for Acolyte, Lee Jung-jae recorded a small video from the set, but didn't really have any information as far as what was revealed. And with what he said and did, it didn't really give anything away. So it was just a little bit of a thank you kind of video. They showed an Indiana Jones trailer. So, and I'm hearing that the release of that is imminent. And so last week we had heard that at Comic-Con, one of the Comic-Cons in, what was it, Brazil, which is actually tomorrow, December 1st, they were going to be releasing, Lucasfilm was doing a panel and they were going to be releasing some content there. And they mentioned, I think that they had said that we would be seeing some Mandalorian content there. And I think they also had said that the Indiana Jones trailer potentially. So I'm predicting that the content that they revealed today will be part of their presentation tomorrow, after which they'll probably make it generally available. So I'm hoping that tomorrow we will start to see some of this content. So we could get an Indiana Jones trailer as early as tomorrow, along with that Mandalorian season 3 trailer. Hopefully we see the stills from Ahsoka, and they showed a little thing that was a Bad Batch trailer as well at the event today. So it was largely a retread of what we saw in the last trailer, but they did include some extra footage of the Emperor and Commander Cody.
Nobody filmed this.
Sweet.
It's not like some phone screen video grab.
No, and I've got little birds out there helping me try and scrounge around to find some of this. In fact, I was talking to some of them during Tech's live stream as well.
Somebody always films it. Come on.
Haven't been able to get my hands on anything, but I think tomorrow. Well, since this was at an internal Disney event,
this was
today,
all internal.
It was a company event, so I think that was why we're not seeing any. But tomorrow, probably fair game. And in fact, if they're smart, they'll just release it like immediately following the panel that they do. So, got a lot of content for Acolyte as well. So, Daphne Keane was doing some press for his Dark Materials, which with Tech Radar, and she revealed some new details about Acolyte. So I've got a quote here. So she says, it's set 100 years before the prequel movies, and it's kind of an explanation of how the Sith infiltrated the Jedi. It's a Sith-led story, which has never been done before. It's been really fun to film. The cast is amazing, and the director and crew are just lovely. The whole experience is wonderful, and I'm already excited for people to see it.
Hold on, question. Sorry. So Acolyte is 100 years before the prequels, and High Republic is 200 years before the prequels. Is that right?
Yes. So
they're lining stuff up.
Let me continue.
It was 200. Okay.
I'm getting into this
because Yoda's still floating around. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So I got 4 more bullet points here, and the last one talks to what you're asking about. So.
Okay.
I'm getting there. It's
Jump the gun.
Come with me on this journey. So it's a distant prequel to The Phantom Menace. Again, it's 100 years earlier. It's been described as being a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadow secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. It follows 2 Jedi investigating a series of unusual crimes tied to a far more sinister plot. And it's officially considered part of the High Republic era and is going to be tied into that multimedia initiative. So as we get closer to the release of Acolyte, we're going to start to see content in other forms, not just the shows. I assume the books will start to converge on that point in the timeline, and we'll actually get official crossover material with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So did that cover where you were getting?
Yeah, well, I just Steven said it was 500 years, but I'm pretty sure it was 200 years before
High Republic.
Let's spend 30 minutes on it. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Haven't even read it. All I know is that when Acolyte comes out, I want to see Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yeah, I know, right? I started to listen. One, I don't have a good handle on the High Republic stuff. I think I got the audiobook for what was like the first book in the first. They're like on phase 2 of the High Republic now.
Right.
I'll be honest. I didn't get through the whole thing.
There were so many names. It would
so
back
different.
and forth. Yeah, it was hard to follow. I agree with you there.
So, yeah,
couldn't get into it as much.
So Empire Magazine online, they've got they did a great article with Denise I'm so bad with the names. Deidre, the actress that played Deidre in Andor.
I love her.
What?
Sorry, the actor was cool.
Agent Miro.
Go read the Empire Magazine article. I encourage everybody to read it. So it was really good. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But she tells this story about having received the script for season 2. And then as she's walking home, she just coincidentally bumps into Ian McDermott, who was also out walking in the same neighborhood. I find it hard to believe that it would be a coincidence that on the same day that scripts are being handed out, the two of them just happen to be walking the same route without, I mean, does that indicate that maybe Ian got a copy of the script too and just happened to be out and about at the same time?
Agent Miro, you've done well.
I like Deidre. I mean, it would make sense that we'd see some at some point. He's
sit with me.
I mean, they're talking about him, yeah, right? Like they mentioned his name numerous times.
Yep, they have.
It was interesting. She mentioned that the first scenes she filmed were actually the Ferrick's funeral scenes.
Oh wow!
So she started with that. That was literally her first day of filming. Was that and everything that we saw with her in those sequences.
Raimi, do you have anything? Are you going to talk about anything with Nicholas Bertel?
No.
Okay, because I just heard today that Nicholas Bertel, that did all the music, the first scene they filmed was the funeral scene.
Okay.
And they played the music live on set. And then that's where he got the idea to do every episode of Andor, the
with
intro,
a different style.
A little piece of that,
adding a little more building.
I love
to
that, man. When you look at the soundtrack now, there's it's the Andor theme, but episode 1, 2, 3, for all the way through the episodes.
They're all different.
I love. It's so unique every time.
I'm gonna have to go back. I'll be honest. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it last week, and now I want to go back and listen to each one individually, like in a row, like that. So I'm on my drive home from Vegas tomorrow. I'm definitely going to do that, because I'll be honest. After I watched the first couple, and it was subtle enough. I didn't notice that they were different at that point. I just hit the little button to say skip the intro because I'm like, oh, I've seen this. I know what it looks like now. It's not like the intro to Peacemaker where it's unskippable.
Unskippable. That's it. That'll do it.
Saying, guys, celebration in our Bad Batch costumes. We got to do that. Kick in the door to the convention center and just blast that song, and in we go. So,
it's gonna be
so Denise Scott. She mentioned in Fiona Shaw's original dialogue for the hologram, and what they played when they were on set. What we hear in the final cut of the episode, when she says "fight the Empire," in the original recorded version, and what they played on set, and all of the cast thought was going to make it into the final episode. So this set the tone that they were definitely doing something different. Fight was not the F word that was used in the dialogue that she recorded. And so can you imagine being on set and they're playing this and it's like this, I mean, obviously the hologram was done in post, but they're playing this and saying like there's a giant 30-foot hologram of Marva saying all this stuff. And she says, F the Empire.
Fry?
Totally set a different tone.
I thought that because when I was watching it the first time, I thought it was interesting how B2 kind of like jittered her hologram right when she said that, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Whatever.
What was it like? Fry or forget or? I mean, what
Come on, Brian, you're not this thick.
It's the chip. Sorry.
So they made it well into the season, believing that was going to make it into the final cut. I mean, I'm sure they probably figured there was no way that was going to actually make it out. But again, that was like a big kind of mic drop moment to set the tone with the cast that this
Wow.
is like no other Star Wars they've seen.
If they kept
Disney-
him kind of in the dark too, right? Yeah.
Disney was like,
Yeah.
maybe,
I mean,
maybe not.
Dink
I
Ferrick,
mean, hey,
Carabas,
the first
anything.
the first episode had hookers and homicide in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's all just what you say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the first episode had hookers
The
and
only thing
homicide.
missing was death sticks. That was the only thing missing.
I mean, technically, by movie rating standards, they could have gotten one F-bomb only counts as a PG-13.
Yeah.
The second
Shooting
one
someone in the
they
chest.
should've done
the
it.
one would have gotten an R. But,
Yeah, they should have done it.
Shooting someone in the chest point blank.
Fudge.
I think there's other variations on that word that have been used in like the EU that are sort of the accepted Star Wars version of that maybe would have been a little more. That I think if had they left that word in, that would have taken me out of it. In the
Well, we got the first shit in Star Wars on like the third episode from the Rent-A-Cop guy.
Wait, we did?
Yeah, that did happen. Yep.
When he was on top of the building before everything blew up.
Yeah, I don't need
When
curse
Andor-
words. It doesn't
Andor
feel like a
and
very
Luthen were
Star Wars
leaving.
thing.
Yeah, I mean they have their
Yeah.
own curse words. They have their own.
Yeah, there's words that are similar. It's like they call coffee calf, right? It's the same idea. They've got words that
Move
map over
milker.
to these. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nerf herder,
Carabas,
frack.
Hoodoo.
But so she filmed those scenes at the end and the funeral scene first, and then ultimately she worked into her character. Like, so she talks about how she was getting into her character throughout the filming of the season. And so some of the last material that she filmed was the interrogation sequences. And by then she was so into the character that she was just like, let me at it. I'm ready to do this. And so she was able to really pull out all that evil for those interrogation sequences. So I think the way that they approached giving her the material and filming her sequences was brilliant, because it really did guide her as an actress through what she needed to go through to get to where she needed to be as her character. And that shows through. And I mean, look, Crosshair hates her. But tell me after doing this that you can't respect what she's done there, having her kind of this path that she took to get there.
No. Acting, top shelf.
Yeah.
The character.
So good that he
Don't
doesn't
like
like
her
the
anymore.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's a testament to her acting. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
when she
crazy
was-
that you could film something from the end, and then I get the process, but like to me that just sounds.
That's probably the biggest day. They're like,
So
all right, let's get it
difficult.
out of the way. There's a
yeah,
billion
and
extras.
sometimes they might be like, you know what, we need to focus our budget on this sequence because this is, I mean, that's where the phrase "the money shot" comes from, right? Like
Actors,
they need to
get paid the big bucks.
they
They
need to
figured
get
out
that, and if they have to cut budget somewhere else later in the season or elsewhere in the season, rather, they'd rather make sure if they're going to go over, let's get it over with early and do it on the sequence that we know makes sense. And if we have to cut the hooker scene or something at the beginning to change it around a little bit, then we'll
It's
do
a
that.
little cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah,
What I like about that scene, yeah, and it's probably Crosshair, is it when she was interrogating? Was that what kind of messed it up for you? Because what I thought of was Agent Smith and Morpheus, that when he was interrogating Morpheus, and just like I can smell
I can see that.
the sweat up, just the
Touches his
anger
face and stuff.
and hatred. Ooh, man, Deidre,
There's a moment when Agent Miro is interrogating her, and the actress just does this like uncontrollable twitch. Yeah,
She talks
Yeah.
about that in the article, and she talks about that and how she can't do that on purpose. Like she's like, I can't. There's no way for me to make that happen, and yet
get
they
fired up.
guided me through the direction and what they did with me as an actress to get me to that point. They were able to get that on film, even though I can't bring it out on purpose. She talks about it in the article, literally that twitch.
and they captured it.
Go read the Empire Magazine article on Deniska and her story about Deidre. It's really good.
I love that they captured it up close, like that little twitch. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, it's so good.
They had to have known it was coming. They were probably just pushing and pushing until they got what they wanted. That was it.
She's being interrogated to act that way.
Exactly.
The actress is amazing. The character was great until she actually started to get power and became like a dark force towards Andor and the rebellion, then I didn't like her. So it's purely just because
I could argue that she did a very good job then.
Yes, I liked it when she was the underdog and she was like fighting her way up, and then all of a sudden when she became a power, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't like you.
Well, she fought her way up, dude. You wanted her to keep struggling. She finally got some recognition.
And that is it for the news.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Rami.
Why did you make me do this?
I guess you have a choice. You want a war? Or do you want to just give me a gun?
My father, he go toilet on my hands.
Oh my God.
Urine is 35 degrees Celsius. Staves off the frostbite.
How is this relevant?
You know, fathers.
Okay, so Hunter's hard drive this week is going to be really short and probably not so sweet. I was going to talk about God of War, the new Ragnarok game that came out, but I've been so I've been really busy with watching the World Cup because I don't I wasn't even going to mention it, but since it only comes around once every 4 years, I figured I would. So I'm from Argentina originally, as some of you know, and I've been following my team. And Brian really hates it for some reason when people say we won, even though I never said that. But here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this one really short. Yeah, we as in us for some reason. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this right here. We'll talk about something next week, and let's just go to Joe with his Q&A instead. What? So what, Brian? What are you going to say?
So do you keep the game on your hard drive, or how does this work?
Well, no. Actually, yeah, because we won 2-0 today, so I'm absolutely keeping it.
You won?
And
did you score the goal, or what position did you?
We won. I played center couch. So...
Brian, don't you know a team can't win without fans? Come on.
Dude, yeah. You ever heard of the 11th man? Or I guess
the
12th man. The 12th man.
That's it. He plays for the Seahawks.
The 12th man.
Yes, thank you.
The 12th man. No, the 12th man. That's the whole crowd. It's
the
crowd. It's the fans.
Respect.
Yeah, whatever.
I know soccer is a big deal. So.
Well, if you're
watching it, dude, football. I don't watch it except for it's the World Cup. It's rare, so I'm watching the U.S. play, right? And
listen, you're in the United States. You call it soccer, okay? You're in the United States. You call it soccer.
You're not there yet. You don't get to call the shots for that.
They're playing footy. They're playing the UK, and then they tied. I'm like, okay, wow. But then I'm like, man, this game, it's 0-0. Can they put a shot clock? Can they give these guys a minute to hey, you got to take a shot or you lose possession. Hand it over.
That's not
how can you speed this up a little bit?
You don't. You either like it or you don't. That's like saying, why is baseball so long? Or why is football played so quick and they stop every 7 seconds?
Exactly.
No, but that's the way it is. That's the sport. It's a cultural thing. They're not going to speed it up because people get bored or whatever. If you don't like it, watch something else. End of story, buddy. Not you, but in general. If you don't like it, it's not for you. Sorry. But people... Yeah, a lot of people are comparing it to hockey, put less players and make it a smaller field and this and that. It's no, that's just a different game. This is what it is, and if it's not for you, there's a million other things that it could be for
there's
you.
There's always purists though with every sport, and there's others that come in and
it's a matter of if you never played the game, you won't understand why it's so hard to score a goal.
I played it at PE.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't play, and they're it's so boring. It's well, yeah,
this one's from a short,
a lot of athleticism.
Segment. Are you guys arguing about soccer?
We're not arguing. I'm informing him. Yeah.
Just kind of good conversation.
Anyway, sorry, Brian. We will continue with something else.
It's for Steven. He looks like he's ready to move along. So,
yeah. All right. Anyway, thanks.
That was nice,
for
John.
That.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I was hyped for you.
Whatever.
I'm being serious, dude.
Yeah.
For your information, the stinger of a Yalbek queen is a delicacy on some planets.
So we got a lot of good questions from our listeners, actually. Mag_Pie is one of our awesome listeners who listens consistently and also tries to share to her friends to listen, which is awesome.
Love her.
And she asks, a dear friend is having a baby in April. So this is more of a dad kind of question. Favorite advice for new parents?
You know, somebody mentioned to me that we need more parenting tips on the Dad Batch. I was like, well, we're not necessarily a parenting show, but
we are now.
It's relevant though if people are, like this.
We are now.
I'm reminded about the first conversation I had with Raimi when I was having my first kid. This was like 5-6 years ago, and I was just like, I'm a first-time parent, and I was just so stressing everything. I'm like, Raimi, how do I be a good dad? How do I be a good parent? And he's just like, it'll come.
It just happens.
Figure it out, right? It's that sappy story where it's like, you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to do. And then you look down at this little wiggling thing that like looks up at you and like you figure it out.
There is something that I've been meaning to talk about on the show that I haven't talked about yet, but it's definitely one of the topics I want to talk about this season. And that's postpartum depression for fathers, because it is a thing that exists. I'll gloss over it really quick right now, but I do want to revisit this in the future. And that's that if a mother who carries their child to full term, they have all the hormones and the chemicals that are going through their body to force them to bond with the child. That's just genetics. It's just how nature works. And the fathers don't necessarily get those same hormones. There are biological things that happen to the male, to the father, but it's not the same bond that a mom has with their kid. And so I just want to say this to all the dads, the new fathers,
new dads
out there, that just be prepared and be supportive be as supportive as you can to the mom for those first 5 or 6 months. You might feel like you're being left out. You might feel like you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, and you're not getting the same attention that you got before the baby. It's okay. I know it might not feel good, but it's okay. And it'll pass.
And just to echo something that you said, appropriate being echo, right? Supporting the mom is probably the single best thing that the dad,
the most important. Yeah.
And in 1 minute, that might be that you need to take care of the baby in order to give the mom a minute to take a breath or whatever. But in other cases, it's not. It's focusing your time and energy on the mom. So that is the single most important thing that a dad can contribute.
My
to get some sleep. Just sleep before the baby comes. Sleep
before, because you're not sleeping when the baby comes.
You're not sleeping when the baby comes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
My
no
advice,
more than 2 hours at a time. Go, John.
Are you sure? Okay. Are you sure?
We're good.
Okay. My advice to new dads, even new moms, is this is something that I was told, and it didn't really click until after. But those first few months, where the baby is just sort of helpless and doesn't move and doesn't walk yet, and obviously doesn't talk yet, cherish those moments, like that first 2, 3, 4 months, because I was told it goes very quickly, and as it was happening, I was kind of like, no, this is not very quickly, and it's a big lifestyle change immediately, and it can seem a little overwhelming. I mean, it will be, because that's just what happens. But do cherish those those early moments, because as soon as my kid was already like started to walk and talk, and I was missing that, where you have to go and get them. They're not calling you, they're not standing up in their crib, and they're just really helpless babies, and it's actually really nice because they're wrapped up and whatever you can basically do whatever you want because you're in control, and whatever. When they're a little older, they get attitudes and they say no a lot, and they don't want to do what you tell them, and so do cherish those early moments as much as possible. Like, try to take it as slow as you can. Like, don't be like, oh, I wish this was, I wish they were walking already, or I wish trust me, you're gonna miss it. And I did, like, a year, and I was like, wow, like, I get it now. Like, that did go so fast, and not that I didn't cherish it, because I feel like I did, but it went super fast, and it's like, and it's gone. That's it. You don't get that back. So that would be my advice. Just really enjoy it, and be prepared to be overwhelmed, but have each other's backs. Like, you and your wife have to, or whoever, two moms, two dads, whatever you want to do, have each other's backs, because you're a team now, whether you like it or not, and that baby is relying on you.
That was a good one, John.
And then 16 years later, they're slamming doors in your face and screaming, "I hate you."
Oh, that's already now. So. But yeah,
that's solid advice. I mean, everything you guys said is 100% accurate. So I'll go on the lighter side. Never spike a full diaper in the ground like a football.
Oh my goodness.
So
what?
My dumbass.
Tech schooling all of us now.
Why did
my
you do
dumbass.
that?
In the morning when the diaper's like really heavy, like you take it off and it's really freaking heavy, and you wrap it up and you're like, man, it's almost like not even football. It's like a rugby ball. Like, this thing is thick.
It's a pro.
THICC.
Like
my wife's
saturated.
sitting over there on the bed holding the baby. I'm like, touchdown! And I spiked this thing on the ground so hard, dude. And I didn't know,
didn't it?
Well, I didn't know that there's these little tiny beads inside the diaper that absorb urine.
Yep.
And other fecal matter and stuff. And so these beads went everywhere. Everywhere in that room.
Poo beads.
And look, dude, imagine Kim's face.
She must have been so pissed.
Dude.
I want to know what she said.
She doesn't cuss, but she did then. She's
like,
what?
You're look at
me, the diaper touchdown. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, that was a dumb thing I just did. So, don't spike a diaper.
Don't put a diaper in the washing machine either. Because those little beads get on everything.
That would be bad.
Oh my goodness.
All right. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like having these real conversations because we are dads, and I think a lot of our listeners want to hear this kind of stuff. They're probably like, gosh, I don't want to have kids now, but no, it's good. I tell you what, it is the hardest thing you will ever do is raising children. And I'm telling you, I've been in some really bad places in my life, in the military and whatever, and I've seen some horrible stuff. Raising children is harder. It takes more of you, more of your attention, more of your care, and but it's worth it. Oh man, it's the best. It's definitely and I don't want to speak for you guys, but it's the best thing that could happen to you. It is.
You gotta want it.
Bar none.
You gotta want it.
That was good. You brought it around, Tech. Halfway through that, Maggie was like, "What did I do by asking this question?" She's like, spiking a football and stuff.
Regret.
Sorry, Magpie. I love you. Okay, so here's another question.
Do one more.
Will you guys ever do armor tutorials? I think people want. So we do a lot of DIY. Like, what are you working on? You hear about the Workbench. We've started getting into the skirts of the question of the outer side of 3D printing versus resin printing versus vacuum form, blah blah blah. What are your thoughts, guys, of potentially maybe doing some YouTube like tutorials? I know John, you've done a little bit, and Brian, you've done a little bit.
I have. I would say people that are not parents are probably better for that. I think Hunter, he does a lot of really good info type videos.
A lot of Q&A answering.
A lot of Q&A because he's a young dude. He's got time.
Do a specific episode, maybe? Just like
who's building something too? That's the other thing. We're not building anything conventional. Like if you're building a TK, like okay, yeah, let's film that. But like, yeah,
I think we focus so much on 3D printing. I mean, I think we could probably focus it on like what's our process. It's worth mentioning anything that we would talk about. That's going to be us talking about our process, and everyone on Earth's got their own spin on that stuff. So, I mean, that would be the disclaimer. It's like we can talk about how we finish our stuff, but that maybe isn't the way that someone else would.
We have our season 2 costumes we have to build. Wouldn't that be a perfect thing to film while we were?
Yeah. So actually, I was going to say in my new garage, I have like plans set up for my new workbenches, and I'm going to have like webcams like pointing downward to the tables.
Yeah.
So I'm planning some sort of content for that.
Yeah,
it's a good idea. I mean, Tech's almost done.
I'll do it.
He is done. But yeah, and I think Ramey's almost done too. But me and Steven and Brian we've barely even started ours. So it might be something good to record and walk through. Yeah.
Did you do your guys? You guys, if any of the listeners out there want to hear this or want to see this stuff, let us know.
Let us know.
Send us messages and we'll do it.
That can do it and put it up on YouTube. Cash_3D. Will you guys ever do armor tutorials? And a lot of the questions are about like building stuff. I mean, airbrush tips. We got some great questions. You know, and I mean, we could fill a whole episode, 2 hours easily, 2 hours worth of just talking about how we build things and our processes. So
I think too, to do that stuff right, you got to really do it right too. I think you're talking about that, Stephen, with the cameras and
yeah.
There's a lot of editing work too.
I think the way Colin does them with photos is really good too, where it's kind of like he'll do each process.
I love those, yeah.
His photo tutorials are amazing.
Job.
I might see him next spring when I go up to San Francisco. He reached out to me, and I might see like his little setup and shoot. Maybe
he's
one
in the
with
city.
him.
Yeah. When are you going to San Fran?
Good workspace.
My older son was going to school in Vallejo, so we stay in San Francisco, but he's in school north of the Bay.
When are you going?
Maybe March-ish, right before we go to London.
Let me know. I might roll with you.
Oh, okay.
If the dates line up, because
I
might have.
Flights are actually really cheap too. They're like
I might have to do some stuff in San Francisco in March.
Oh,
that sounds cryptic.
You're so fancy.
I signed an NDA. We can't talk about it here.
But does your NDA have an NDA like John's?
No,
your NDA has an NDA.
Well,
we don't talk about my NDAs.
Inception NDA, because that NDA had an NDA, but then Ramey's NDA overrode that NDA. So
I don't know, man.
I have an NDA.
Let's stop mentioning NDAs.
My NDA is no damn armor.
Before we get in trouble.
no damn armor.
Crosshair, when are you going to get your armor, dude? What's your plan? What is your plan, by the way? What is your plan?
26 days, I think. 125 days.
I'm going to get a Jamiroquai kit, and I'm going to
chop it up.
Ramey's amazing talents, cut up some 3D print files and resin print the parts that I need to modify.
I need to go back into our group chat and screenshot. I got to keep scrolling so I can get the screenshot of when Brian said, "I am never going to wear a 3D printed kit ever again."
Mm-hmm. He made a big deal about it.
Oh, well, this won't be. This is going to be a Jamiroquai
resin print it, so it won't be the same.
No. This is going to be a Jamiroquai kit with resin printed pieces, small pieces, right. Not just full armor pieces.
Fall off.
Do it, dude.
Good luck. You ever getting anything to stick to that fiberglass stuff?
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
Not worried.
We
Good
need to
luck,
talk
pal.
about
Not
that.
worried at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably worth filming it.
I'm gonna glue John's hand to it.
We've got the recording of us warning you.
Oh, is that it? We're done?
It's late, dude. It's like 2 hours.
It's like 5 a.m. where
This-
Brian's
it
at.
went quick. Yeah, it's like
I think that does it today for
Next
us,
day,
guys. If you enjoyed listening, feed the algorithm. Give us 5 stars on your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got weekly episodes, unboxings, reviews, other stuff. You can follow me at Stevie Kicks on Instagram, sometimes Twitter. I started a Hive. I don't know what it is, but I got it. Space Daddy John, go for it.
you can find me at Alpha Ignition on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube for one silly paint tutorial.
Space Daddy Joe.
Tech God Bad Batch.
Space Daddy Brian.
Let's do Dad Batch Pod because we got all kinds of cool stuff going on. That and Hondo Supply for the Ornament Project.
There you
Nice.
go. Nice.
Space Daddy Raimi.
Give.ndss.org/dadbatch.
Excellent. Thank you again, everybody, for listening to episode 18 of the Dad Batch podcast. And until next time, obey your space dads. Enjoy your spice responsibly.